What's up YouTube, it's Matthew here. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to share with you all the best wholesale real estate contracts. So I'm going to go over the purchase and sales agreement between you, the wholesaler, and the seller, and the assignment on contract between you and your cash buyer. These are the two main contracts you need to fulfill to close a wholesale deal. I do get questions about this, and I do have other videos on contracts, but I just wanted to make a refresher video in 2024, just breaking down the contract and actually sharing my screen with you all, sharing the contracts that I use and filling it out using an example to fill out what you need to fill out on these contracts. The other thing is, if you all are interested in these contracts, you can check my link down below. With my link, it will take you to a website where you can download it. If you're interested in using these contracts that I use to close deals, wholesale deals, and even close just regular cash properties, like a property that I'm working on. I'm actually working on the flip, and I use this to actually close on the property. So once again, you all, if you're interested, you can check that link down below. Make sure you all like this video and subscribe. A lot of you watch my videos but are not subscribed, so please be sure to subscribe. All right, so this is the purchase and sales agreement that I use. Very simple, just a simple one-page contract. On here, let's start from the top. I got the date. You just put the date that you signed the contract, and then the seller's information. So this is where you would put the seller's name. So let's put Jane Doe right here, and then the buyer, let's say Biz Matthew. If you have an LLC, put LLC right there. And then this is a contract for the purchase and sale of real estate property located in. And this is where I actually get I put the county information. I forgot where I got this contract from. Like, this is not 100% mine. Just telling you all, I didn't make this up myself. I believe I downloaded it from another person's website, and I did do some tweaks to it, but it's mostly from another website. And so, for example, we can do like Cook County right here, delete some of the space, and then just put the state, Illinois, right there. And I like to bold what I fill out usually, so I would bold this, like boom, bold that, boom, bold, and then I'll bold that one. All right, now street address, very simple. You just put in the street address. What you could do, you can like actually just delete all that underline if you're typing it up, and you could just do something like this: 3 Main Street, something like that. Street, I can't spell street, y'all. Okay. Yeah, that's what I would do if I'm typing it up. But like if you're printing these out, obviously you want to keep the lines in so you can write in the address. Like if you're in person meeting with the seller, that's what I would do. Now, legal description. This is like the parcel ID, not the parcel ID. I don't even know if it's the parcel ID, but that's according to where the property is located, according to the county. And so I usually leave that blank and have them fill it out. I can fill it out myself by just looking on the county's website, but most of the time I don't fill that out. I don't even know if that's required. It was just on this contract. And so it may look like weird, like with some numbers and letters and whatnot. So that's just something that you would have to consider. Now, buyer will pay. Let's say you're buying a house for, let's say, 100,000. So I'll just put 100,000 right here. So this is what I put in my contract. So the price, that's the second thing after the property description. Buyer will pay 100,000. Boom, boom, boom. Seller will only accept funds paid by cash or check, or wire transfer. The payment, buyer will pay the purchase price in cash. If you're doing a regular cash purchase, when I did my closing for my flip project, I actually used a hard money loan, and they say I had to make an amendment to this clause, right? Because I said this was going to be 100% a cash purchase. And hard money is not exactly all that. And so that was one thing that we changed. The seller would not accept any financing contingencies. So honestly, if your cash buyer is using a hard money lender, what I would do is I would change this up a little bit. Maybe I would just say payment buyer will pay the purchase price in cash or using some sort of financing or something like that. You can make that adjustment. But if you know your cash buyer is using their own cash, then you wouldn't have to change that. Now the next one, title and conveyance. Seller would transfer marketable title to the property by warranty deed. Seller would clear all liens and encumbrances from title, with the exception of unpaid taxes. So this is just saying that the seller is, giving the property away by title, by deed, whatever, and that the only charge they're responsible for is any unpaid like loans and liens on the property, like if they have a mortgage, and also unpaid property taxes. Now, right here, usually as a wholesaler, you mark it and saying that there's no closing costs. And so I put that in my contract. Say, buyer will pay any escrow fees, attorney fees, title insurance, transfer taxes, recording fees for the property. So that's essentially all like the title fees and closing costs. Seller will pay for any lien judgments against the property, that which was stated before. And this transaction will be closed by a reputable notary, public, title company, or attorney as determined by the buyer. And then a closing date. This is where you would put your closing date. So let's say you put this property under contract on the 19th. I would go like 45 days out. Or I'll just like put to the end of February. I'll put like 29th of February or something like that, or the 1st of March. Just so I can have like over 30 days, even though like I can most likely close it in 30 days, just to make sure, we have enough time, and I'll let the seller know that. So, for example, I'll just put here like 3/1/24, something like that. All right, so we're back live, reconnecting. So I'll put something like 3/1/24 right here. All right, cancellation. So buyer retains the right to terminate this agreement. Buyer may cancel only by delivering written notice or oral notice of cancellation to seller before closing date. And so this is just a cancellation clause. Like if you need to cancel for whatever reason, you don't want to put yourself in that situation, or especially put that in the seller situation, let the seller go through that. But that's just there just to protect you. Disclosure, each party represents themselves. Buyer represents itself exclusively. Seller represents itself exclusively. And just other things like that. So you can actually put an assignment clause in your contract, and that's what I did. You can also just put and or assigns, like after buyer, you could put something like, and or assigns, something like that. I know I've seen contracts like that. And so if you're interested in doing something like that, you can do that. But I just have a whole assignment clause. Buyer has an unqualified right to assign its right under this contract to a third party. No notice to the seller of an assignment is necessary. Such an assignment will create a novation and release the original buyer from this contract and substitute the assignee in its place. And so, yeah, if the seller has a question about that, just explain it to them. Say, hey, sometimes I work with buyers, other investors that want the property more than me, or I think it would be a better fit for them, or I can't work on this property right now, so I give this property up to them. But nothing changes. The price stays the same. Closing date stays the same, and you get your money. Binding agreement, this is a binding agreement. And then, you could put a deadline to acceptance and you put a date right here. I usually don't do that. If I mail it or if I like docu-sign it to them, you can do that, but it's not necessary. Now, the next contract is the assignment of contract between you and the cash buyer. So once you have a cash buyer in place for that property, you put your name right here. So you're the assigner. So I'll just put something like You know, the buyer was Ms. Matthew. So I'll put my name right there. Assigns this right and title and interest to the purchase and sales agreement dated. And then you put the date. Assigns this right in the purchase and sales agreement dated. So this is the date that you put right here. So 119. So I'll put 119 right there. To the assignee. And you just put Jill. To purchase to purchase real property located at, and then you put 1, 2, 3, Maine. The purchase contract is being assigned for the amount. Now this is your assignment fee. Let's say you want your assignment to be, let's go big, a little big. It's not that big. 20,000. Buyer shall close on or before, and you put that closing date. Essentially the same closing date as your purchase and sales agreement. Upon execution of the assignment agreement, the buyer hereby agrees to pay wholesaler a non-refundable earnest money in the amount of boom. You put your EMD. You know, for my first few deals, I actually didn't require my cash buyer to put an EMD, but after a while, I started requiring it to really lock in the deal, because sometimes I would have other buyers come to me still interested in the property, and they would either offer more or less, and you know, especially if they're offering more, I'm all like, you know, this person, I mean, there's nothing that, like, they haven't signed this contract yet. But if they put their earnest money deposit down even before they're signed, that's a good deal, right? And so, I mean, that's not a good deal. That's showing that this buyer is actually committed to this property. So that's what I would do. I would just put earnest money deposit. You can put something like $2,500, something like that, and then you put closings are an assignment of my contract with the seller to the buyer and are held at, and this is where you put your title company or wherever you're closing. And then you as the wholesaler sign, the buyer signs. All right, you all, hope you all enjoyed this video. If you all have any questions, please let me know down below about contracts and things of that nature. Once again, I know there could be a lot of technical terms with contracts and agreements and documents and all that, but hopefully this video help explain it in a simplified manner. Once again, comment down below, subscribe to this channel, and I'll talk to you all later.